What's up guys, Nepenthes here and welcome to another episode of the PES Road to Glory, PES19 Road to Glory of course. We're going to be starting off just showing you guys, I did a few offline things to gain a few scouts and just get some experience that you can see on here. Did some stuff to just basically completing some of the objectives and tasks in the game. You're going to see a little bit of that, you're going to see a bit of team management. We're going to be opening our third and final Player of the Week ball that we're going to be able to open. We pick up a new manager, among a whole bunch of other things, a few online games in there as well that you guys will of course see. Now, relatively short video today compared to what normal Road to Glories will be like. I've got a few comments from the comment section, but not much, because what I want to do is I want to take the comments, talk about those briefly, but then I want to talk about my genuine experiences, pros and cons with the game, and PES versus FIFA, essentially. So the first comment that I've taken is from Giacomo Cimarelli, and he says, "I'd love to see more PES from you, please continue." And that comment was kind of like emulated and replicated a lot to what, you know, to some degree, one way or the other. And I'll say to you guys what I responded to someone in the comment section and what I said on stream last night is that I will continue to play this game so long as it is engaging. What I love about this game at the very start is there's so much to do, the grind feels real, the gameplay, it's fun learning the new gameplay and the intricacies of the gameplay, which we'll get into in a second as well. You know, there's so many little things to learn. For example, what the A's, B's and C's mean. I didn't even know that yesterday, now I know. I will be creating a video explaining the ins and outs of everything, what I've learned so far over the last 24 to 48 hours. But yeah, so I will continue to post content on this game under two circumstances. Number one, that you guys are still enjoying watching it, are still liking the videos, are still commenting and then still engaging with the videos. That's obviously quite important. And number two, that the game itself is engaging. You know, one of the things with FIFA is that it has continuous renewable content because of the fact that SBCs and FUT champs, etc. are available. So on a week-to-week, even day-to-day basis, we get new players in the game, new SBCs in the game, new events to play in the game. And even though the hardcore grind of FUT dies, for me it died around Christmas time in FIFA 18, you know, that hardcore grind dies around then, there's still always reasons to log on to the game. Daily objectives, weekly objectives, special promos, as I said, FUT champs, squad battles. There's always so many reasons to log on to the game and play. So even when the grind dies, the game is still very much alive. With PES, because this is the first time I've seriously played PES since PES 6 on PlayStation 2, with PES, I don't know what the grind will represent. I don't know if I will be able to get a team and then the grind will stop, so the engagement for me will stop. I don't know if PES will have ideas for weekly objectives and weekly tournaments and events that will actually be fun to play in and get good rewards and be engaging with. So ultimately, guys, I'll be honest, it really depends on what PES do. It depends on what Konami do with the game and how well they treat their consumers in terms of engagement levels. If they, like, there are currently 3 offline tournaments and 3 online tournaments. If they continue to update these tournaments with stipulations, give good rewards, maybe players, maybe training experiences, stuff like that, then I will absolutely continue to play this game because there'll be a reason to play this game. So that's my honest opinion with that. The next comments that I see, everything about the pack animation is really good, but to be honest, I prefer working my butt off to have a good player. Dr. Nico says, I don't mean to hate, but how is PES fun? In the first 20 minutes you can get 96 Neymar, Mbappe, Legend, Mateus. How is that fun? And another comment along the same lines is from Matteo, says, this game will last 2 weeks if you can get the best players like that. Well, I don't think that's necessarily the truth. It's not quite like the World Cup mode, because on the World Cup mode on FUT, you could get the repeatable icons over and over and over, and there was essentially no cost to play with them. The way as we actually get 96 ZIYECH, by the way, that I couldn't believe it, our third and final Player of the Week card, and we get basically the best 3. 93 Simeone is there as well, who's higher rated than Mbappe, but we got Neymar, Mbappe, and ZIYECH, which is amazing. But the difference with PES that FIFA doesn't have is you are required to pay heavy dividends for contracts. So, for example, my Neymar to every 10 games costs 3,850 game points. So basically 385 game points per game for just my Neymar. And so, as you can see, I've got 36,000 gamer points right now, so I'm doing all right now. But once I get my team all the way upgraded, every sort of like 10 games or so, I'm going to be looking to have to spend 50, 60, 70,000 gamer points, and they're hard to accumulate. So what that means is that the grind in terms of your squad building and your squad utility becomes really important, because one amazing dude, let me get his name as well, he's a PES moderator on Reddit. He messaged me on Facebook and I've been chatting with him. So the D Silent Hillbilly, or the DI's Silent Hillbilly, apologies if I pronounced your name wrong, he gave me a whole bunch of information. And it might be a case where you might have like an 80 rated right back, but it's actually more beneficial to get 70 rated, grind him to being 80 rated, because then his contract renewal is cheaper and he's a cheaper cost on the manager. So in that regard, it's not going to be a case of, oh, you get the best players and that's just it, done and dusted. It's going to be boring, because it costs a lot to have all the best players in your club. You need the right manager. You can't even change formations right now. Like, I'm forced to play a 4-3-3 because of the manager I got. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's a bit silly. But there's so many reasons to keep grinding and to keep playing. And there aren't any requirements for the tournaments that are being played right now, but there is a requirements tab. So if they say that you are max requirement of a 3-star team, all of a sudden all those big players that you've got are going to be irrelevant. It might be, a 3-star team win this tournament with a 3-star team to get a black ball. So, it's going to be like, well, I can use 1 or 2 of my big players, but then I want to use lower rated players after that. So there is definitely the grind is real. And although I do have Mbappe, I do have Neymar, I do have Lothar Matthäus, I also have that Salah that we picked up, which you'll see me upgrade him a fair bit here today as well. I don't really have many amazing players outside of that, and to get XP, there is a formula to it. Basically, you get 1 experience point per minute that the player plays, and then it gets multiplied based on their rating in the game. So 6 is the base rating at 1 XP, and anything lower than that, it doesn't deteriorate. But if you get 7 rating, they get 2 bonus, like they basically get 2 times experience. 8 would be 3 times experience, and then if you've got a low rated team and you play against a high rated team, you get even more experience based on your opponent's team rating as well. So there's a lot to understand in terms of grinding players, and to grind someone from, like, for example, right now my Neymar costs about 5,000 experience per level to grind, and I only gain about 100 to 300 experience a game on him if I'm lucky. So it's going to take me a whole bunch of time to grind him up to the next level of experience, and then the next level of experience, and so on and so forth, right? It's not like a quick one and done kind of thing. And my team right now is I've got some key players, but because I'm on a poor man's road to glory, and I'm not putting in gamer points, and I'm not putting in like the My Club coins, I'm not like it. Now is where it's going to be like, okay, I've got a few star players, but I now have to grind and grind and grind. And in fact, talking about grinding, I've actually, whilst I'm recording this video, I've got my team playing the computer in a sim match whilst I record this video, because by the time I finish it, I'm going to get 2,000 gamer points, and I'm using like all of my trash low-end players that I'll never use. So one of the tips I was given, that I will put into its own dedicated video, but one of the tips I was given is that if you've got the time and if you've got the resources, when you're not doing anything, put all of your white ball players into one team, go and sim a match. You get stamina back on your black ball players and your top tier players that you'll put on your bench. You get gamer points. You get what I've discovered is you get about 1,000 or so for losing and about 2,000 or so for drawing. I haven't won a game yet because they're such low end players. And then once they all run out of contracts, you can just turn them into experience to upgrade your better players. And then you get a scout at the end of every game as well. So if you put in a team with 10 contracts on each, you play 10 games with those, you're going to get 10 scouts. And if you get the 1-star scouts, you can basically just utilize those scouts to get more white ball players to rinse and repeat the whole process. So it's a really, really good method to kind of grind hard, grind gamer points, grind scouts, and grind experience. It is a true and good and fun grind, and I'm excited to use it. So I just wanted to address those points real quick with what we've seen here. I also want to talk about, as I said, my true experience with the game, the pros and the cons. So in terms of the pros, I like what I've seen so far. I love the upgrade method. I love the whole cost per team method. I love how detailed the stats are. You can see so much in terms of stats. When you go into a game, you can press right bumper a couple of times and you can see both for you and your opponent how you score, how you concede. Like, I concede 42% of my goals conceded since I've been playing have come from through balls. So I now know that I have an issue with defending through balls, so I can adapt my game plan to that. I love the game plan. I love how it works in game. I love the fact that stamina is actually quite important in this game, and if you just gas someone out, you're just going to end up running them into the ground. I love the fact that you can have co-op my club. The way co-op works is you can have either 2 or 3 players, and basically, so I was playing with Bates and a Marshall. When you've got 3 players, it will take 6 random players from each person's my club and make 1 team. And if you've got 2 players, it will take 9 from each person's my club and make 1 team. And I just find it to be genuinely phenomenal. I think it's really, really fun. So there's a lot of great aspects in that sense. In terms of gameplay, there are definitely some good aspects in gameplay. I like the way the passing feels. The game is relatively smooth. It is definitely a realistic football simulator in many regards. With that being said, in terms of cons, we'll get to those in a second, I suppose, because I'm not finished on the pros. In general, the game feels good. The game is a very high grindy game. I like the fact that you get kind of given a whole bunch of superstars at the start, and then you get to kind of like piece together your team after that. It feels good, man. It feels really, really good. In terms of the cons, the menu systems are super outdated. It's very hard to navigate the user interface. I think a lot of people said in the comments, and I agree, it is like a mobile game in terms of the menu systems. It would be good if they had a complete mobile like user interface overhaul. That would be great. In other negatives, there are a few gameplay aspects that I don't like. Like, it's like some of the touches on the players, they're just very heavy. It's very unresponsive when trying to do things first time. Like, you will sometimes control a ball and press A at the same time, and it just won't register the pass. So you have to wait until you re-control the ball to make the pass. So there's a lot of unresponsiveness in that regard, which I don't like. And I don't like the fact that you can't change formations or like, you know, you have to pay for your managers. I understand it's a way for PES to try and like develop a like real world value in terms of monetary value to try and improve their game, but it's just not fun that I'm forced to use the 4-3-3, or I can buy a manager that has, say, the 4-2-2-2 because I want to use a 2-striker formation, yet he doesn't have the skills to incorporate all of my top tier players, so I'd have to sacrifice playing with the players that I already have just because I want to choose a different formation. So I don't really like that too much. My first impressions of this game are it is very good. It is a lot of fun to play. It is a great grindy game. It has some incredible aspects, but yes, it is pretty primitive in its menu design. It is pretty lethargic in some terms of the gameplay, and we will have to wait and see if it has end game longevity, because although I've played a fair few games so far, I've probably got about 20 games under my belt at this stage. That's a mix of co-op my club, offline, online simulated games, and online games, so it's a wide variety. After I've played 100 or 200 games of this and I've really experienced the ins and outs of the gameplay, I'll be able to have like a more valid opinion on whether or not this game will be fun to play outside of the menu stuff. So that's where we're at with that, really, guys. And as you can see there, I went and bought Jurgen Klopp because now I can incorporate ZIYECH into the team with no problem. You see my team get changed there. I've got a few other upgrades to make to the team, which we'll see at the start of the next episode. But generally speaking, I am having fun with this. I find this game to be enjoyable. I think if you guys have the finances to get it, you should try it. Will it be better than FIFA 19? I don't know. If you're sitting there thinking you can only buy one, I would say don't buy this yet. Wait until FIFA 19 comes out and we can have a true discussion of PES 19 versus FIFA 19. But that, guys, is going to be the end of the video for today. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.